Hi, Derek Johnson with Tatango.com here, and I wanted to do a quick video because we're in the latter half of 2017. I want to do a video on what I think is going to happen with mobile messaging and what's going to change in 2018. So I think this is going to be a great video for anybody doing mobile messaging or thinking about doing messaging in 2018. So I listed 4 different things that I think will change in 2018. First one is the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. So the TCPA, as sometimes referred to, essentially says that you can't send text messages to customers without their consent. There's a lot more stuff, but I'm not going to go into it on this video to comply with the TCPA for text message marketing. But essentially, that's what it is. And what has happened over the last couple years, maybe few years, is brands have started to realize and understand what is required in the TCPA to be compliant. Because if you're not compliant, you can be sued anywhere from $500 up to $1,500 per text message. So with a lot of education, like we're doing these type of videos, with attorneys starting to understand the TCPA and advise their clients, with the FCC coming out and clarifying a lot of things, and the courts also making decisions as to what applies and what doesn't apply. I think all of those things are starting to kind of compound, and essentially at the end of the day, the brands are following the TCPA, or at least they're trying, and I think that's going to reduce the amount of TCPA lawsuits that we're going to see in 2018 compared to the last few years, which is good for marketers. Second one here is text messaging chat bots. So if you're not familiar with a chat bot, it's not a Roomba that you chat with. It's actually when you're chatting via Messenger, and that could be via Facebook Messenger, that can be on a website chat, and as I'm talking about right now, text messaging chat. And essentially a chat bot is a robot that you're talking to, and not a robot like the Jetsons, essentially like a smart computer. And they're using AI, artificial intelligence, to be able to hold that conversation with a human. Eventually, AI is going to get smart enough that you're going to be able to chat with a chatbot and never actually even know if it's a chatbot or a human. Pretty creepy, isn't it? But I think it's going to be pretty cool. So with text messaging chatbots, essentially it means that you're texting with a robot, and that robot's helping you figure out your problem or answer a question that you have. And I think there's 2 things that are going to combine in 2018 that are going to make text messaging chatbots extremely popular with brands. Number 1 is chatbots, and AI, it continues to get smarter by the day. So as AI gets smarter, chatbots become more lifelike. The minute it becomes real lifelike, and I can't tell the difference, then really why wouldn't a brand use a chatbot? They're cheaper. Also, they can learn from a bunch of different experiences, so they might even be better than talking to a human. That blows my mind. But as chatbots and AI become smarter and smarter and almost can provide a better experience than a human, let's say, and text messaging continues to be like the #1 app used on a phone, that's where I have my most important conversations. When those 2 things combine, I think we're going to see a lot of brands look at it and go, well, if AI is where it needs to be right now and everybody's continuing to text message, why don't we combine those 2 and provide text messaging chatbots to our customers so they can resolve their issues with the company. So that's number 2. Chatbots, I think, are going to be huge in 2018, and specifically text messaging chatbots. Number 3 here is links. So in a text messages are pretty boring. They're 160 characters, but in a text message, you can put a text message link, and the link can link out to any kind of experience on the mobile phone. Well, just like AI is getting smarter, so are the phones, and they're getting more interesting. You can do more interesting things on the phones. When we started Tatango in 2007, you couldn't really do anything on a phone. This is pre-iPhone. Now you can open apps, you can deep link into apps, you can open videos, you can watch a full-length feature film if you want on your phone. So as the phone gets more interesting and can do more interesting things for marketers, I think you're going to see more text message marketing, more interest in text message marketing, because it allows marketers to push consumers that they already have their phone number for to those new experiences. We're talking things like virtual reality, on your phone. That's a pretty new concept, but as the phone gets smarter and smarter and can do more cool things, you're going to see more brands be interested in pushing their consumers to that. And with a 99% open rate and 90% of text messages being opened within 3 minutes, there's really no better way to send a text or send a message to a consumer and have them go to a mobile experience. That's number 3. Number 4 is RCS Business Messaging. RCS essentially allows marketers to build a more rich mobile messaging experience. So as I said before, text messaging, 160 characters, pretty boring. Then came MMS, which allowed like a picture or video. RCS is taking it to the next level. It's going to allow some really cool marketing features. We're really excited here at Tatango for RCS. But at this point, it's still being incubated, still being developed. They're still trying to figure out what phones it's going to be on, what operating system it's going to be on. I think all of those issues going into 2018 will either be resolved or will be on the progress to being resolved. So I think RCS brands are going to be able to not only use RCS in 2018, but understand more about what RCS messaging is and where it's going to go into the future. So 4 different things that I'm super excited about in mobile messaging for 2018. That's RCS messaging, text messaging chatbots, linking out, and as the phone gets smarter and can do more interesting things, I think that will increase the demand for text message marketing. And then TCPA compliance. I think brands are understanding it more, which I think will reduce the amount of lawsuits that brands will be receiving because of violations of the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. So that's my kind of prediction for 2018, 4 different things. But stay tuned on the Tatango blog, as things are always changing in our industry, and we'll try to keep you as up to date as possible.